This weekend will be the official release of Ravnica Remastered, a product line from Magic the Gathering that is having a tough time finding an audience willing to open their wallets and buy the product. But really what players want to talk about when they look at something like Ravnica Remastered is Shocklands and the race to the bottom. Everyone loves a good train wreck. They have a hard time taking their eyes off of it. It's morbid curiosity. How bad is it going to get? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And a reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bell. New content every single day. Now, today's video, we are going to be talking about Ravnica Remastered, but of course, specifically the Shocklands, because it is the most desired thing inside the set, and a lot of players are wondering just how bad it's going to get, how low those prices are going to fall for each of those single cards. They want to get them cheap, and they want to know how bad the train wreck's going to be for this product. Because the things we do know so far really are not favorable. We know that the pre-orders are super low and in most cases non-existent at most local LGSs. We know that they are being opened in abundance when you look at a lot of the online videos right now showing the box openings. I can't wait to open up the boxes I was given by 401 to take a look to see if that's actually true and how accurate, and we'll do a count when we get there. But in a lot of these collector boxes, you're seeing 5 to 9 Shocklands per box. That is crazy. Because back in the day, things like, when you open this original products like, Ravnica, Guilds of Ravnica, Ravnica, Allegiance, Return to Ravnica. We've had a lot of products from Ravnica that had Shocklands. Most of those you got 4 or 5, sometimes 6. But seeing that many in a collector box and kind of the average between 5 and 7, that's a lot of Shocklands. At least it has the attraction, the allure that you were seeing a massive amount opened for 12 packs, right? But is it really? Players have always got it in for Wizards of the Coast, myself included. But before we go burning down the house that is the Shocklands and expecting these products to just collapse in value for the single Shocklands, there's a lot to factor in. There's a lot more to look at than just those particular boxes of the collector box. When you take a look at something like the collector box for Ravnica Remastered, because that's what we're talking about. When we look at that, look at the price point. Yes, we are seeing YouTube content creators popping out the videos, but they're not going to be opening these to sell them en masse. You see the LGSs and some of the stores that are out there that do box opening videos. They again are doing an initial run of boxes to be opened, and then they're not opening anymore. So if we know those two key ingredients, YouTube content creation, hyping it and getting excited, stores knowing that, hey, there's some cash to be found here, we got to open these up now and get them out to the public. What happens after the initial glut? After that pre-release weekend, where there might be some special drafts for players, when those all go by, the price remains the same unless we get an Amazon dump or they do something to lower the price of this product to attract more players. So how low can these cards actually go? Well, Shocklands have been pretty low in the past, but they've recovered. They've withstood and had resilience when a lot of other cards didn't. Because it's a mana base and it is continually used for deck construction, they've seemed to be able to rebound back a lot of the time. We have a history of these cards that goes back a decade plus. Even the ones from Return to Ravnica, those bounce back. We've seen what happens. A little bit of elasticity there. So what makes any player think that they are going to drop below that? Well, they're seeing these videos. They are watching them and saying they are going to drop because look, they're getting 5, 7, 9. And although those players see that and think it's going to happen, take in the first two things we said. YouTube content creators, stores doing their box opening videos, myself included. But that is not going to be the average person. That is not going to be the average Joe working a 9 to 5 going to spend almost $400+ Canadian to get one of these boxes, to get 7 Shocklands. They are not going to take that challenge. They are not going to join that lottery. Even if there is a 1 or 2% chance that they are going to get a serialized card, it just seems so far from reality that your mind makes you take a step back and realize there are better things to spend your money on than a box of Magic. That's why singles are doing so well. The data's there. You can look at it and you can say, look at the sales of singles. They're selling really well. Single sales have been rising week over week, month over month. I track it on the top 10 video. You can see the overall sales go up. And you can see, even from yesterday's video, that box prices are generally flat or falling. So who in their right mind is going to go out and take a chance opening these boxes as an average consumer? Other than the odd person doing a draft night or something, it's not going to be the norm. So if that, as we know, is not going to be the norm, factoring what we've just learned, how can we expect Shocklands to fall that much in price overall and stay that low? In my opinion, they're not. They are not going to stay low. There might be an initial glut that hits the market, and there might be an initial rush for players to buy them. But as with a lot of these kind of situations in Magic, as the time goes by, the prices start to fall. The cards become less popular, and then everything kind of firms up. It becomes a hard point of 7, 8, 10, 12, whatever dollar amount. And in some cases, it actually rebounds back up because the supply goes low because prices were dipping a little bit, and there's been a lot of downward pressure on these Shocklands for the last 90 days. But it hasn't fallen much further for weeks. It's been trickling at this point, pennies a day, that it's not dropping. And if there is some elasticity to this card and it bounces back up, that's going to be a real shock to the system for every player who's watching it expecting a bad train wreck. They're on the side of the road looking in, expecting some horrific scene of super cheap game pieces that they can grab that is most likely not going to happen the way they think it is. There might be a moment where you can grab them super cheap. There might be that moment, depending on how they hit the market. But perception is not reality. When you perceive something going lower and you're looking at all these box opening videos and you're getting it in your head that that's the norm. It is the norm for those boxes if they were opened en masse. And if tens of thousands of Magic players started buying these, we'd have hundreds of thousands of Shocklands entering the system in all kinds of different parts of the world, and it would be amazingly cheap. But are there tens of thousands of Magic players who are going to spend $200, $300, depending on where you are in the world, $400, $500 a box? It's the pragmatic, practical side of me looking at that situation unfolding and realizing it's probably not. So where does that leave us? What does that tell us? Well, we know then that there might be an initial dip due to everything we just talked about. The initial glut hitting the market. So 30 days out probably looks like a pretty good time to buy. Does that mean that 60 days and 90 days out won't be any good? Doesn't mean that. This is just my opinion based on what we've seen in the past and with these cards being at previous lows. Things like Return to Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance, Guilds of Ravnica. We saw these things drop before. Okay? We've seen the prices be lower before. I remember buying them at face-to-face games. I think it was $8 or $10 for like Steam vents and stuff back when Ravnica Allegiance came out. That was the cheapest I think I remember seeing them. That was Canadian pricing, by the way. So that'd be like $7, $8. Could it get to that price point again? Depending. Because if players go out there and buy them, or buy lesser versions like Return to Ravnica versions, it can cause a whole bunch of shifting in the market, a lot of different sales in different areas, but it's still all Shocklands. So you'd have to look at all the varying different versions of those Shocklands to see what's going up, what's going down. Depending on if you as a player are hoping for a train wreck across the board, that is very unlikely to happen. If you're hoping for just a blip where you can get a Shockland for like $7, $8 Canadian, like $5, $6 US, it could happen, but it seems unlikely. based on the price point of the product. Remember at the beginning where I said, the pre-orders for this are next to zero. So who's opening it? Who's going to buy it and open it? Who's going to buy the odd pack? Sure. Individual packs sell all the time, but is that going to be enough of emotion in the market before the Murders at Karlov Manor come, before people start looking forward to spoilers from Modern Horizons 3? I know there are players out there who have been trying to buy some of the older versions of Shocklands because they probably realized, like we're talking about now, the overall data doesn't support a massive collapse of this card anymore. The initial stuff we saw it like pushing down a couple of dollars a card, and it's been push, but now it's not really going any lower. And if this is as low as it's going to go right before release, and we kind of have the anticipation that it's going to get worse, I think some people are going to be disappointed, would be the way I'm going to put it. People hoping to get these cards super cheap are probably in for a bit of a shock. I know, a bad pun, but we're late in the video. It's over 10 minutes. Nobody's here. Nobody's here at this point. But if you are, thanks for sticking around. Yeah, that's why I see things playing out. I'll know more when I do the box openings myself, and I've checked with all the stores. Pre-orders are next to zero, so I know there's not a lot of sales going on. This isn't a product that players wanted to get in on. It's not where their mindset is. The ooh and ah factor has us sitting in the back room saying, "Oh, it's coming up. I don't really want it. Maybe a card or two, but I'm not paying that price." That's where people are at, and everyone else is on the sidelines. They're not even shoppers. They're the window shoppers looking from the side of the road going, how bad? How bad? And I think they're going to be disappointed. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out. Thanks for being here on the video today. Love to see your thoughts and opinions on this inside the comments section. Let's keep that conversation going. It's magic. It's a great game. I'm looking forward to going to my pre-release this weekend, having some fun and see how I do. And I'll be curious to see where the prices go, just like you guys are. All right, thanks again for hanging out. I'll see you guys all tomorrow for another video. A big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons we have supporting this channel every single day. Because of them, the daily uploaded content that everyone views is made possible. So thanks again to all my supportive patrons, my YouTube membership members. You made it? Hey, thanks for coming by to the Ramble Jamble. About time you stepped up. You've been lazy lately. You got to hang out a little more. You got to make time for us. You know what I'm saying? It's good. I'm glad you made it out. So guys, as I itch the back of my leg, it's a ramble jamble. Whatever happens, happens. I look at this product, and I have to say that it's a good product. All the remastered products I have actually enjoyed. It's the price that drives me insane. They've just done it wrong, and they've ruined something before it ever really got a chance to get started, and that's the problem. That's my issue. So we're going to see where it goes. But I know those pre-orders are next to zero. So I think people are going to be in shock that the Shocklands don't fall where they think it should fall, where they think it will be, because the data doesn't support it. People can argue with me all they want. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Ask my wife. But it's going to be okay. Don't tell my wife that. I shouldn't have said that. That was petty of me, wasn't it? It's okay. Did you help clean the dishes? Did you clean up? Because I did. Did you walk the dog? Did you make the dinner? Because you should. You got to help out each other. See? I'm trying to divert you away from other things now. That's how it's going to be. That's how we're going to roll today. Guys, thanks a lot for stopping by. Thanks for being here on the channel. And remember, boomstick.